multiple wrongdoings in the call with CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla is just like, oh my God, is this guy actually serious right now? But I actually cover what Charles Hoskinson actually wanted to, do with the token. He's met with Javier Milei and the entire Argentinian team. So he's, kind of devastated by the fact that meme coins are now pulling away from countries adopting the utility of blockchain. They're now going to be much more cautious because this is a very bad look on the entire crypto sector. And it just comes down to one guy in LA and his ego. So it's a very interesting mechanic that just entered the market over the weekend. And I don't know how he had the ties to Javier Milei and launching a presidential token. But obviously, a lot is being exposed over the next few hours here.
Yeah, and full disclosure, I did forget to hit go live at the beginning, so they missed that awesome little countdown intro. But we are live now officially for sure.
All right, everybody, and if you'd missed it, we got a lot of crazy stuff we're going to be talking about today. We got to talk about Javier Milei. We got to talk about Solana. Most importantly, we got to talk about the gold in Fort Knox. Does it even exist? We're hearing lots and lots of crazy allegations regarding that. And tonight, stay tuned. LA Vape Cabal, Argentinian president. We're going to break it down in depth, but we are definitely going to cover it today. Now, if we could look at the crypto prices, I'm going to go ahead and hit refresh here. Just get the freshest data because, like people said, ETH is getting a little bit of a blip. It's getting a little bit of life here, as is Cardano. Cardano with a nice 6% pump. ETH with a nice 4% pump. Other than that, though, we're seeing a lot of red candles in the market here. Chainlink, nice little pump here. So we're seeing some quality projects. Toncoin moving to this upside here, as is Polkadot. Now let's go ahead and look at the biggest movers. Sonic. Folks, if you hold any Sonic, stay tuned. We're going to explain why Sonic is pumping later on in the show. And Aave, Cardano, Pepe. So a lot of the larger projects, we're not seeing coins, ranked 99, 98, kind of top on the list here. When we go to the biggest losers, Jupiter, Trump, Radium, Solana. And folks, we might have to long Solana live. Chat, let me know if I should long Solana. Josh, I'll ask you, should I long Solana at these levels? FUD is at a maximum.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard take right now, especially if you're a trader out there just looking at your market conditions. Your liquidity, we just saw $100 million extracted from the altcoin market. And it does good. I do like seeing Ethereum today. Ethereum's up while Bitcoin and the rest of the market's down here. Ran up actually to $2,850 this morning. Has since started pulling back here with the rest of the market. And it seems to me that the market is really just following the SPX here. So if you're looking to long these positions, what you should be looking for is just the macro indicators that we are going to get that next step up into these markets. And so whether that's the PPI, the CPI, or, whatever, in my opinion, it's going to be March 19th is going to be your key date. So we're still a month away from it, but it's the next FOMC date. And so by then we'll know if Scott Bessent and Howard Lutnick can really kind of turn the markets around in terms of how they look at risk on assets. So for Solana and these, I think there's some great dollar cost average entry points. If I'm DCAing, I think there's some great entries. If I'm leverage trading, you're really going to be cautious and being paying attention to those small time frame cycles, looking to take advantage of those scalp positions.
All right. Well, I do want to give a quick shout out to L Bank. I am going to long. I forgot someone in the chat saying it is about a pump, everybody. Solana is going to skyrocket. That is coming from, what do we got? Lasagna Automat. All right, Lasagna, you got it. I'm going to try to get some cheese on this lasagna, and we're going to go ahead and open a long 23X. Nothing crazy. And if you folks recall, this was a little bit of dust. We've almost tripled the dust, over doubled the dust. And we're going to just keep getting steak sandwiches here, folks. And so we have a link down below if you want to get some trades in as well. Now, folks, be careful trading, because this was me in 2000. All right. This was Brad Pitt in 2000. That's me today, folks. I mean, look, there's a lot of likeness here. So if you do want to trade, just be aware. It's not for the faint of heart. Josh, I mean, you can attest to this somewhat.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it definitely does it. The altcoins, man, they've been being smacked. People do not like the feeling of altcoin right now. There was never an altcoin season. It's been just altcoin kind of pumps and sectors. But, man, people are feeling it out there right now, DZ.
All right. And speaking of feeling it, people are feeling some shorts on Solana. That's why we just opened that long on L Bank. Tyler Durden here. The market has decided it is angry at Solana. Positions on the book. The shorts are outnumbering the longs 4-1 as of last night. So this is only about 12 hours ago. We look right here. We got Martini guy. Solana back at long-term support. Looks like, we just came down a little bit. Huge liquidation wick if support is lost. If we go check out the charts right now, go to the 1 hour. Whoo, buddy, you can see that that support was lost after he did that post. Now we've came down to some other levels. Did we look down at the 4-hour? I'm seeing a little bit of horizontal support here, Josh. I don't know what you're seeing with the altcoin markets, the Solana markets lately.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think they're just trying to decide what's next here. I mean, we got breaking news from a minute ago here. We'll be getting into this in this live stream today. But when we're talking about $100 million being extracted from what is already a very limited uh market cycle, like there's a lot of FUD that exists in these markets. Bitcoin now to $95,786, so market clearly just following that impact. But of course, you saw things like JP Morgan pick up $100 million worth of MicroStrategy shares just at the end of last week, so we know the institutional interest is there. I'd be watching for these key levels, and we'll be pulling up some here on X in just a moment. But of course, breaking down what is happening in these meme markets is really going to matter for the Solana ecosystem.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. We're going to jump into that in a little bit. I do want to share a little bit of Solana Bitcoin news because a lot of traders are looking at the Solana Bitcoin trading pair. Is this a distribution phase, or is this just volatility we're seeing? We're going to pull up the Sol BTC chart because Ben Cowan, well-known analyst, recently posted on X. Here's his post right here, trying to convince Solana maxis that the Solana Bitcoin chart is just in distribution phase. Reminds me of trying to convince ETH maxis that ETH Bitcoin was in a distribution phase during the merge. And he made that call right here before ETH just started bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. Understanding distribution, this is when there's a prolonged uptrend, and then the whales sell off their holdings to retail, which will lead to a slow reversal. And the rise in 23-24, huge rally through 23, and then the early part of 2024. If we go to the chart right here, this is Solana priced in Bitcoin. The blue lines you're seeing is 10,000 Satoshis, or one tenth of a 1% here. And so this is percent of Bitcoin's value, 0.2 of 1%, 0.3, and so on. Solana just kind of trading right now a little bit below the 20,000 Satoshi mark. If we go back to the article here, they kind of talk about some levels. We have seen some bullish momentum, but we need to hold on to some levels. Critical support, 17,000 Satoshis. If it is breached, selling pressure could increase substantially. Looking at 17,000 right now, 18,853. So if you're wondering what the Solana Bitcoin chart is looking like, if we don't bounce and bounce soon, get closer to this 30,000. Yeah, it doesn't look great for Solana on this Bitcoin chart, Josh.
Yeah, no, I mean, these new ranges, and people are asking, like, guys, do I sound sick or anything? It's I literally cracked my tooth, and I don't know if it's a molar or what. I gotta go do it after this. I'm gonna go to the dentist right after the show. But ultimately, yeah, we're waiting for the risk on factors of these markets. So for Solana there, when you're pulling up those metrics, and I have Sol's chart right here, right, which is quite, if you're on the minute, it's just following, of course, Ethereum at these levels. I mean, we're coming down to, if you're breaking this, you're coming right back into this previous zone, which is all the way down to $125. So for swing traders, they're going to absolutely love this. I know our Telegram's been loving it. Crypto Crank, shout out to him, man. I mean, they're just watching these trading zones that every single altcoin's been just being positioned into. Bitcoin still hasn't broken out of it, right? Look at this $95,000 trading pattern or zone that we've been just sitting in. It's kind of cyclical at this point with what your institutions are doing. If you look at the daily time frame, what I look to put out is we're definitely about to witness a major move. And whether that's up or down, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, 8, 9, 10, 11 days of hovering around $95,000 or $500. And this just goes to show that, it's either going to be this redistribution outlet, or it's going to be an accumulation zone getting ready for that next price action to the upside. So on Bitcoin, like what I'm watching for altcoins here is, if you guys want to long altcoins, the primary target that we've been doing in the Telegram here is every time you're coming towards this $91,300 level, right? If you're entering right here, you're at like a 50-60% chance that, it's going to go one direction or the other. So you're not at the optimal time for that distribution. At the top here, though, look at 1063. 1063 has been tapped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times here on the daily time frame. So we've been stuck in the zone, and institutions, to me, it feels like we're getting an excess amount of manipulation right now. They love these trading ranges because while for retail, this is going to hurt, these institutions trading with billions of dollars. One, they understand the market makers. Two, they understand the liquidity. And three, they are the ones that get to control the momentum in these cycles. And so trading between these two zones is what you want to do if you want to compete with these institutions. Anything prior to that, yeah, unfortunately, DZ, like what you're pointing out here is as Bitcoin trades in the zone, Bitcoin dominance has been remaining higher and higher and higher. So what we'd really like to see is a breakdown from the Bitcoin dominance, and for us to finally break through. Obviously, we want to see the upside to this, and I do believe that upside is coming very soon. I think it's going to be towards March 19th after the FOMC decisions with, of course, the interest rate cuts.
All right, well, that's a great segue to our next article. I do want to mention Tyler Durden cracks a tooth in Fight Club, so you're basically the main character. All right, Bitcoin. I had to do it. Bitcoin to pump. You're bringing up Bitcoin, some of the volatility that we're seeing here, or lack thereof. Well, Bitcoin's is to set to pump because the world is on the brink of max chaos. This is according to Bitwise CEO and head of Alpha, Jeff Park, says the macro signals are flashing. Bitcoin is ready for a dump, or sorry, rather a pump. And so he's looking at the House Republican budget plan to raise the debt limit by $4 trillion, which would aim to boost government spending. He also said, now, cover the kids' ears here. Park also noted what he called max retardation when it came to the markets, noting a gold run tail risk. We're going to talk about gold later on in Fort Knox. The GOP's unprecedented tax cuts up to $4.5 trillion, along with what he believed was the imminent yield curve control. And that's where a central bank targets the long-term interest rates to stimulate borrowing. That's AKA lowering interest rates. Powell threw cold water on the possibility of lowering interest rates, though. But people are underestimating the leaps Bitcoin is going to take into the mainstream this year. He has never been more optimistic. So feeling a lot of strength. And then that kind of leads me to what Paul Tudor Jones, and this is, folks, I underestimated his purchase and the percentage of what this means for his net worth. Because I saw this number here, $426 million Bitcoin ETF bet. But that's not his personal, that's for his company. Then you start thinking of BlackRock, you're like, all right, well, they're over $10 trillion, $500 million could really, really be a small amount. Well, here is his investment. And I wanted to just point that out because I looked it up. Tudor Investment Corporation, scroll all the way over here, assets under management, only 12 billion. $500 million is in Bitcoin. That's roughly 4%, folks. And 4 or 5%, that's what a lot of people say you should have for your gold allocation in your portfolio. And so gold being 5% of all these people's portfolio raised gold to a $18 trillion market cap. And we're starting to see the signs that Bitcoin also heading to a 18, aka equal to gold market cap here. This is $1 million Bitcoin. This is a $2 million Bitcoin. And last time I did the numbers, I think it might actually be closer to a $2.6 million Bitcoin. Obviously, we don't think it's going to happen this cycle, but I'm very, very bullish on Bitcoin when I see these types of articles. I don't know if you had any thoughts, TJ, here.
Yeah, I think it's extremely bullish. The more we start to see big money putting significant percentages, like you said, even anything close to 2, 3, 4%, when you get a major wealth of the world doing that, it's going to have an incredible inflationary or price impact to the upside for Bitcoin. So yeah, we're going to see some of these crazy Bitcoin prices. I think we're going to see $1 million Bitcoin a lot sooner than people think. So yeah, and if you guys missed it, we had a intro before I hit the go live button that said, where Josh mentioned he's got to go to the dentist, and I'm out of town right now, so we're testing some new streaming capabilities with StreamYard. We got some big guests coming up that's going to be on later this week or next week, a couple different founders and stuff. So we wanted to test that. But somebody in the chat said a Bitcoin price is actually dumping right now. We're at 95.6 basically in different places. You guys have do you guys have any open trades other than the one you?
All right, so I actually added to that position. It came down right below that support. I put it at 180.20. Right now it's at 179.99, and we'll be watching this once we kind of lose support. That's when I do kind of expect it to hit that trend level that Josh was talking about. I am not trying to ride this all the way down, obviously, and so if we lose another, I would say another 1% here. If this trade loses about 20%, might be just looking to cut and run and then be looking for an entry along this trend line here. We're looking at the 4-hour candle here. So right now, holding on to this for support. If we lose it, I'm okay cutting and running. I'm okay, just fleeing off into the night like I'm in the LA vape cabal with
Yeah.
my Solana.
Oh, chill there, chill.
Well, I was gonna ask you guys this too because this was part of what came up with all that stuff with the Argentina coin and all these meme coins in general on Solana. Some people are saying this could be somewhat of the beginning of the end of Solana because it's a completely just value extraction chain. What do you guys think to that? Do you think we're gonna start and we're starting to see Ethereum do better again and things like that? Do you think we're
Well,
gonna
I got a
see?
personal story. I'll let
All
you
right.
go first, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gonna stop anything, unfortunately. It's just like is Las Vegas gonna shut down because a bunch of traders or a bunch of visitors lose a lot of their capital for going and gambling at the casinos? I think it's an addiction. I think people like the adrenaline. They like these vape cabals. They like it. They understand. Half the industry understands that they're there to get rugged, right? It's that ever like constantly chasing that dopamine rush of hitting that 10, 20, 30, 100x. And that's where that gambler's addiction kind of comes into these memified markets because in your utility tokens, I mean, some people are out there with crazy bullish price, but I'm much more conservative, right? And that's not what a lot of people want. They want that instant gratification. And so the meme cycle, I don't think is necessarily going to just go away. But I do believe it's going to push institutions out. And what you got to worry about is them ruining the regulatory frameworks that will be created moving forward in the White House and the administration. It's like because of these children that are extracting hundreds of millions of dollars in liquidity on these chains, it will catch up to them. And this will have repercussions in our laws. And so, what I want to point out though is that Bitcoin whales, despite what's been happening with Solana's chain. And I know it feels like people are like looking at this altcoin market as cooked, but if you want to share the screen right here, Bitcoin whales are continuously buying. So don't be shaken out by manipulated price action and fickle narratives. Buy dips and hold in self custody. And we'll show the chart here for the chat in a second.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But there we go. Perfect. Bitcoin whales price action here. So you can see that whales between like 90,000 and 110,000 Bitcoin are consistently that hold this much are consistently buying at these prices. So what I think it will do is force the market to focus much more utility perspective projects as it emerges as an asset class because it's going to force the conversation. So like I was just in Washington DC last week and the conversation was already almost being forced into utility aspect tokens, but the conversation around like collectibles and meme coins did exist, but because of things like this with Argentina, when you have an entire president being taken advantage of, it's going to kind of pump the brakes on a lot of the institutions and the committees and the lobbyists that were like kind of focusing on that part of the sector and industry. So, Deez, you got your story on it. I don't think meme coins are going to go anywhere though. I think it's going to always be a retail front.
So my story with the LA, the Solana ecosystem, the trenches, and what's going on. And we're going to kind of have some of the quick strokes on the Malay story, but make sure you have on notifications because we're doing an in-depth video tonight. I actually sold a lot of my dust style positions. Every meme coin, maybe not every, but I opened up my Solana. I had quite a few meme coin positions under $100. These are a lot of the time. It's, I get my initials out, maybe even an additional 20, 30, 40, 50%. Sometimes I lose interest. Like, all right, I put one soul in, I pulled out 1.2. I don't really care what happens with the rest. Or, next thing you know, your $200 is $100. Now it's $50. And you're like, I could have had a whole soul, at that point. And so I actually dusted out all the meme coin positions under $100, under $200 on my Phantom wallet today. My Soulflare wallet today. So I was actually a net buyer of Solana, dumping all these positions that, I don't really have the time or the bandwidth to be watching the charts on all these things like Stool Presidente, Melania, a lot of these tokens. I just cashed out and ran. I think I left one Solana meme token that's already in profit. This is just a position. That's just house money. I left a little bit of Trump, and that's about it.
Nice. I'm basically in the same boat where I don't really mess with a lot of meme coins and stuff. Do have a little bit of Trump. I do keep an eye on that one.
Someone's asking about Fart Coin. I sold the butthole. Sold Okay. Let's talk about Bitcoin, everybody. This one's going to make my forehead sweat. Meta Planet also bought some more Bitcoin over the weekend, 270 Bitcoin. That's a roughly $26 million. They now have about 2,000 Bitcoin. So they're up about 10x on that original position here. But Josh, we're about to roll into the Malay story. I know you got your video out tonight. Can you tease us with anything we can expect for tonight's video?
Well, let's watch the breaking news here from Barstool Sports. So Dave Portnoy has been it's so funny how this is somebody I've watched for a long time. I know you guys are used to the pizza reviews and everything, Barstool Sports and everything.
One bite, you
Has
know the rules.
has became the one bite, the rules for all your meme coins. So Stool President came out and asked whose money is the 100 million. And this right here, guys, this is Hayden. This is Hayden Davis. He's the guy behind the entire scam and fraud of Argentina. But here's what he has to say, DZ, about the money, the $100
Does he
million.
address having the world's smallest cranium ratio?
I haven't seen this 2-minute clip yet, but I'm going to imagine there's a lot of small cranium, also a lot of small things probably in the chat, but we'll see. Here you go.
It's money that's not mine. I'm not never claiming it's my money. I'm not running off with the money. I have no desire to run off with the money.
Whose money is it? That's what I don't. I think that's the question.
I don't know. It's definitely not mine. It's Argentina's. I don't know what association you give with that. The point was Malay's team, or who I thought was Malay's team. Again, you're talking.
But like even at one point when we were talking, we were going back and forth, and we had a couple discussions about this during the course of deciding to launch, where you're like, I think, and again, this is how I looked at it, and I actually said it to you. I'm like, I wasn't trying to make money with my coin short term, and I think it's like you were telling me I wanted the thing audited. I wanted all the money in public wallets. I was going to tell people what wallets it is in, so people could. I was going to tell people exactly what I said. I'm going in and out, and I want it all tracked. So you've said to me they kind of went back. I thought I was going to be able to inject capital back in, and then it didn't happen.
Well, yeah, two things happen if I'm super honest. One is there was a third party journalist in the room just for my own safety, because I thought something like this in a worst case scenario could happen, that documented the whole thing. So that'll be posted at some point, probably later today or this week. But I was instructed, hey, don't inject any back in until Malay's second video. So Malay's second video never comes. Then he deletes the tweet. Then he says he doesn't support the project, which, by the way, I don't again, just want to be super clear. I don't think Malay even fully knows what's going on.
Yeah, instructed by who? That was my question. He said he was instructed not to do anything until Malay's second video. Who instructed him to do that? That's who we need to be finding out.
An investigation's going to be intense. So we dropped the whole video on breaking down what exactly happened here, the vape cabal. We pull up Thread Guy's stream, who has FaZe Banks on it, who literally just claims he's like, I made $300,000 off of it. I had the inside knowledge, and everybody was in chat oh my god. So we pull up everything this community is kind of doing and what we need to do to really move forward from this. But as you can see, this is just a kid that's I don't know if he's my age or maybe he's older than me, but at the same time, if you can't sell Dave Portnoy here, whose $100 million that is, and you're just going that's your way around it. There is going to be some insane findings on the investigations that are coming out of this, because within 2 hours, that this $4 billion meme coin collapse. And anybody that's just tuning in, if you didn't know, Argentina launched a meme coin that
I got the TLDR real quick. The TLDR.
Let's bring that up.
Yeah, so we launched, Javier Milei launched the meme coin with the help of that guy, his Kelsier Ventures. His name's Hayden. They wanted to fund the development of Argentina, runs up to $4.5 billion. Coin ends up falling after people see 95 is unlocked for the insiders and the team. So from 4.5 billion, then crashes down to 300 million. Massive dump. KOL involvement. These are key opinion leaders online. There's a lot of influencers out there, like the aforementioned LA Vape Cabal. They knew the launch was coming, paid to promote it, like Dave Portnoy paid to promote. He was actually reimbursed his allocation. The guy went on CoffeeZilla to talk about it. Now we're seeing calls of impeachment for Javier Milei. After the pushback, he's striking back. And if you're wondering what the percentage was, 94% fall. Ended up actually hitting 257%. Here's what he said. The scandal, this is from an opponent, which embarrasses us on an international scale, requires us to launch an impeachment request against the president. One of his political opposition leaders said. Now there's calls that this was an open secret in meme coin circles. Now, if you fast forward to this, never delete that, folks. So this is the guy that actually ruined Solana, not Melania. F you, altcoin Gordon. This is the guy who saved Ethereum. Love the take right there. Here's the crimes that he confessed to: insider trading, market manipulation, misappropriation of funds, failure to disclose, theft, unjust enrichment, conspiracy for financial crimes, regulatory violations, etc., etc. It looks like people knew ahead of time. They found Dave Portnoy's wallet. He was later compensated the 5 million USDC. We scroll down here. Choose Rich. Him and Dave Portnoy kind of having a battle right now. That's the guy with the... they say he looks like Millhouse. And then Dave
CoffeeZilla footage though. Did you see that last night?
Yeah, and then just to end it right here, Dave Portnoy, folks, he is not escaping the wrath. He's just trying to talk about, I think, basketball here. Just wants to talk about sports. Is Jalen trenching tonight? You aren't trenching a damn thing, Dave. You lose money and get reimbursed. You aren't one of us. Not like us. Not like us.
I see a scooter guy always complaining. Look, Dave Portnoy, this is just what happens with KOLs. He was going to be hired on for that, but at least he openly admitted and sent the money back. Now he isn't one of us because he did get reimbursed $5 million. So I do agree with that. But before we jump the gun on blaming everything on Dave and these KOLs and Hayden here, my question is this: the impeachment articles came out very, very quickly, and Javier Milei is a very hated individual on a global scale. I mean, what he did to Argentina, a lot of left socialist groups are not at all fans of. And so my question is going to be, Hayden's obviously not smart. Pull up Hayden's, image right here. This, obviously does not know anything about these markets. When he's asked whose money, if you can't even express that and knowingly know that you literally just admitted to 7 different illegal activities.
I don't think that was the case. I think he doesn't want to say it's his money.
Dude, if he was smart, he would not be having any conversations right now.
Yes,
He'd be on the phone with
I would
a lawyer
agree
right now. And so, my question is, whoever told him not to inject the liquidity back into the pools and help the price action, I wonder if there was also more to this on the side of things that Milei really doesn't know. I doubt Milei knows anything about this meme coin launch. He knows nothing about crypto, and primarily, is this someone trying to take him out? Is this someone taking advantage of that situation as well?
They say Milei knew for weeks. And so the real question is, who started selling?
Understand one-sided liquidity pools? Does he actually understand how crypto markets and liquidity injection works? Does he understand this entire KOL?
Normal politician, I would say, yeah, probably not. The guy taught economics. He's a university professor. The man knew what was happening here. With him specifically, he knows what a one-sided liquidity. He might not know technical definitions, but he knows about buying and selling and markets. And so I'm sure it wasn't above his purview. He couldn't figure it out.
I think it's one of those. I think people really overestimate presidential leaders and how much they know about what's going on, about every little detail. He probably heard that they're talking about doing something with crypto in Argentina. We're going to do this crypto thing that helps Argentina. And he's like, oh, great. That sounds good. Yeah, do crypto. That's good. But the details of how they used his influence for the stuff, who actually made sure these things were getting retweeted and all that. I think what it does do is it sets us up for regulation to come in, and we're going to get some rules and regulations in place on some of this stuff. A lot of it already is in place as far as like the laws you just went over that he broke, insider trading, price manipulation, fraud, all that sorts of stuff. All that already is in place. So we're going to start to see that getting applied to these markets. I do think we're going to see somebody get some time for this one. It's pretty harsh or pretty bad what they've been doing, and the fact that this isn't the only one. It's not isolated to this launch. They've done other launches like this, so
That's
I don't
also
think where they're doing it and how they're getting away with it and all that sort of stuff. That's going to be an interesting thing to watch. But I would say this is net negative for crypto. It's a bad experience for new people coming in. It's a bad look for crypto in general. It's a bad look obviously it's horrible for Javier Milei. That's what I think. He's doing a great job. He's really turning a whole country around. I can't imagine how frustrating it would be. You're doing all this really good stuff, and now they're trying to impeach you over this stupid meme. That's what we don't want when it comes as a issue for crypto. We don't want it to be this oh man, everything was going great, and then until I tried to get involved with crypto, and then all of a sudden, everything started falling apart. So
yeah.
I do think we're going to see some negative consequences that come out of this. And my question is, though, for those of you who joined later, we were talking about at the beginning. Will this be the beginning of the end for Solana? Will this be the end of what people getting rugged on these memes over and over and over and over? And and you tell people hey, you could just buy Bitcoin and probably you'd be up dramatically right now if you've just been buying a little Bitcoin every week for the last couple of years. Instead, everybody wants this casino. I put a little bit of money, I maybe put in 1,000 and pull out 50,000 or 100,000 or whatever they think is going to happen. Will that mentality ever fade? Will Solana ever fade? We've got big unlocks coming, but we've also got FTX repayments coming. There's kind of a lot going on in the FTX or in the Solana ecosystem. So we'll start with that. For you guys, what do you think? Will we see Solana hype fade, and will it return to Ethereum? What do you think?
And I think I have a perfect kind of analogy for this. For me, I'm going to compare it to the decentralized social media world. Is every single content creator and user on the planet wants a decentralized social media platform to be able to operate on. The problem is everybody is human by nature, which unfortunately we live in a global capitalistic society, which means we're going to rely on making money to live and prosper and do things. And so we are inclined and we are held to centralized platforms that pay out those advertisement costs or give you the exposure that either a content creator is looking for or B, a user is looking for in terms of experience. So where the most popular, the best type of content is actually built upon. So TikTok's a perfect example, right? So to me, Solana is the TikTok of crypto. It's never going to go away. The dopamine approach to it is you can't compete with it if you're a decentralized social media platform. You're not going to get the same CPM. You're not going to, whatever their algorithm is in terms of virality aspects, you're not going to get that same exposure on any other platform. And it's the same thing with Solana. And so it's really just looking at human nature and saying, can human behavior change? And in my opinion, that's just a no. You're always going to have that gambler mentality. You're always going to have this dopamine, instant gratification approach that people want in this industry. And as like a very libertarian person when it comes to money markets, this is where I'm worried that now because of what is taking place due to dumbasses in the crypto space, harder regulations and bigger enforcement actions are going to take place. Because I believe in my money, my choice. If I want to be able to gamble if I want to take $1,000 and go to the casino, no one should be stopping me from doing so. Now, that doesn't remove, though, the responsibility that should be held against these people like Hayden Davis, who are clearly inside trading, clearly market manipulating, and clearly doing potentially more illicit activities. That is what my caution is. So is this going to be damaging enough to prevent companies from launching tokenized reward systems that have a memified experience? Because to me, that is going to add a lot of value to companies in the future. I truly believe tokenized reward systems can be really, really positive for community development and growth. And at the same time, replace current illiquid industries like, again, reward structures at an MLB game or an NFL game or something like that. And it's going to hinder innovation because of what a bunch of kids with, that are tatted out from FaZe Clan and Hayden here, who, and again, if you pull up this image of him, I mean, tell me this or not, chat. Maybe he's playing dumb. Maybe he's very smart and he's playing dumb here. But also just after listening to the CoffeeZilla video, after listening to his interview with Dave Portnoy, he also seems like somebody to me that knows a little bit about a sector, but knows nothing about politics. And when politics came in and they smelt him, dude, he was just one of the most easy people to manipulate as well. So it's not, this is, I don't want this to turn into like another FTX situation where it's like we just label Hayden as responsible for everything. Like clearly he's responsible for a lot of it, but just like Sam Bankman-Fried, dude, his parents got off scot-free. Everybody around him got almost off scot-free. And it's like these are multi-billion-dollar frauds that really no one's being held accountable at the end of the day, and then it just hurts the industry more than it benefits it.
Well, let me ask you this: who then should regulate it? Like, if we think, like you've got CFTC doing, Bitcoin and Ethereum commodities related things. SEC's kind of stepped away, said they're not going to mess with it. I mean, is it like the gaming commission now is going to regulate meme coins because it's like gambling? Like like
It's actually a good idea, to be
when you're
honest.
saying who should be holding these people responsible, and who does make the line of what's, other than what's out there already. Like, I think it's pretty clear to use the laws that are already in place. But if it's not the laws that are already in place, who says what's a predatory meme coin and what's good marketing? Like, who makes that
Yeah,
decision?
I honestly, well, I think it's still going to be the SEC. I don't think anything's going to change on that as far as
Well,
like.
SEC said they're not going to regulate meme coins.
I think the gaming committee, that's honestly like a genius
No,
idea.
no. Well, they're not going to regulate non-securities, and I don't think. Now, if you're asking the question, are meme coin securities? I think the answer is no. I think David Sachs has been pretty clear on this, and I think the actions of Trump have been pretty clear on this. They're labeling meme coins as collectibles, and I think as long as you don't make any kind of promises, you are going to be good. The genie is out of the bottle. The genie's not going back in the bottle. You can't get the cat back in the cage. And so now that Trump has basically made it legal to launch a meme coin with very little promises, we're going to see a lot more. We're going to see reward systems. We're going to see membership tiers. We're going to see all of this. I think if anything got killed over the weekend, volume's going to be down.
Well,
I think people are a lot less inclined to buy celebrity coin X, Y, or Z. But I don't think, and maybe celebrity X, Y, or Z might be more hesitant to launch a token. But to me, memes are collectibles. That's kind of the law of the land. And I don't see it changing anytime during the Trump presidency.
TJ came up with a pretty smart idea there, though. Like, whether it's the gaming commission or not, I think it's very simple. Like this is obvious. Like,
Who regulates a Charizard card? Nobody. So why would this be different?
It's a Ponzi scheme. So that's the separation here. It's not a security, but it's a Ponzi. This was straight up a Ponzi scheme. They have admitted to it in multiple different tiers, multiple different levels, and that's where
it's not literally a Ponzi.
Know.
You should be a little careful with language like that. It's not literally a Ponzi.
It's literally
to enrich others. So it's fraud.
It's literally fraud. Yeah.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Because they promised things like this is gonna.
I mean, did they make the promise that liquidity would stay there forever?
Yes.
No.
Maybe did they?
Made the
I want to see
He literally
it.
made the promise that they're going to inject all of the money made back into the project, and then they didn't inject any of the liquidity. That's where the Ponzi.
I need to see the exact quote.
Maybe that's considered fraud.
Folks, watch tonight's video. I think honestly we probably covered it too much. You got to watch tonight's video.
Well, one here's to kind of take it a separate direction here, because this is another thought I saw out there that actually resonated with me that I thought was pretty interesting, because you're seeing a lot of meme coin now as being a pretty all-encompassing term. Everything that's meant to be, in and out at this point, like a flash in the pan, anything that's a short-term trade is being called a meme coin these days. And somebody said, I wish I could remember which Twitter account so I could give them credit, but one account I followed said something along the lines of, we should start. It might have been Eric from Taproot Wizards. Said something, we need to start separating meme coins from attention tokens. And meme coins is a coin launched around an actual meme. Like, there's a meme on the internet that has some virality to it, some culture and some humor usually, or irony, versus just a celebrity attention token that is being launched and people are buying it because they think this person will generate enough attention so that the value goes up. Two different things. Doge and Trump are very different in the sense that, like, or even Jail Stool with Portnoy, like, people were buying that because they believed in Portnoy's ability to pump it up. Or even this Argentina token, people believing, hey, Malay is going to get enough attention on it to where the price is going to go up. That's very different than Chill Guy was an actual meme, or Pepe is an actual meme. Doge, those are memes. So it's like we're starting to see. I think they are very different, an attention token versus a meme coin. I do also agree with what you're saying, DZ, that they're all going to be considered collectibles. And there's, it seems like nobody wants to try to get into the really hard task of regulating this space, because people can see, generally speaking, it's net negative. It seems to be value extractive. It seems to be more predatory, where eventually the money does flow to the top, similar to gambling. That's why I threw out the gaming commission, because but a lot of people would argue that's corrupt too, right? So
Very
that
much
just,
so.
yeah, it just becomes a gated wall to say only these people are allowed to scam everybody else, and they do it because they scam ethically. It's like it's a weird conversation, but I think you're right.
I would just say I don't agree with that assessment, that they're very different. But that's all. We could paint this door all day. That's just that's my only 2 cents.
I don't think there's
memes
any
and
right
celebrity
answer.
tokens.
It's I think everybody on this panel believes in my money, my choice. Like, we believe in self custody. We believe in Bitcoin, and so it just opens up. It's a hard conversation, and to TJ's point, there's no committee that even understands the industry. So it's like, if they're already a regulated, corrupted sector, it's like, do we want them regulating this asset? It's like, clearly, no, we don't. But we'll see what moves forward here. It's going to be very interesting. We'll be breaking down a ton of videos. We have a video dropping tonight, kind of breaking down the whole situation, bringing in Charles Hoskinson as well, and his thoughts on the overall situation. He had some very, very good takes on the entire matter. And we'll be keeping you guys up to date on everything that comes out, because I'm very curious on the conversation, if you guys have got thoughts around this. But I seriously am going to do some investigation into, the ties of the political leaders that Hayden had within the Malay administration, because those individuals right now are going to be held under a microscope when it comes into this impeachment process. And I want to know what their ties are, their donations, their political affiliates are, because there's again, this is, everything looks like one thing on the surface level, but a lot of things are happening behind the scenes. And I definitely want to make sure that that's not the case with this project. It very well could be the case. It could be a strategic way to push Malay out of the presidency of Argentina here.
Do you think it'll actually have those kind of implications, or do you think they'll be able to?
Yeah, he's been charged with fraud.
I know it's been filed, but
yeah. So that to me, get ready for all your USA funded platforms, baby. They're going to be talking about.
It's not super hard to impeach, to start the procedures of an impeachment. I mean, Bill Clinton got it for saying.
But
anyways,
if they can pin $100 million or a $4 billion loss on, it just doesn't look good.
Yeah, it's not good. That's for sure. You don't want to have to explain it. That's for dang sure.
Exactly. But there is a few upcoming key things here today. So I don't know if one of these will segue into the next article for you, DZ, here.
Well, in a totally unrelated story here, hackers impersonate Saudi crown prince to launch fraudulent meme coins. We're seeing it, but this one was a hack, everybody. False tweets. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and they're rug pulled after losing 90% shortly after launch, with the official content later removed. So yeah, we're starting to see. I personally, I see a politician launching a coin. I don't care if that chart's 2 minutes old. Probably not a buy for me. You got to be real careful out there, folks.
We have Art Caffeine goes, Josh, I'm saying my money, my crypto sound like a woman movement body, say my body. That's exactly the point, Art Caffeine. You got it, baby. You got it. But go on. The SEC classifying XRP as a commodity.
Yeah, a little bit of news here. According to Eleanor Tourette, SEC has acknowledged ETF proposals that treat XRP as a commodity asset wrapped in a security structure. This is a small but important step for XRP here. This acknowledgement does not necessarily indicate official classification as a commodity, however, but it is a good first step, and we've seen it for Solana, Dogecoin, and Cardano. So we're seeing it for XRP as well. So conclusion here, while the acknowledgement of these applications is an important development, it does, however, it's essential to understand it does not equate as an official classification of XRP as a commodity, but it's just a step in the right direction, everybody. So it's good to see for XRP. Now, I did want to cover breaking. Now, this is just the past 24 hours, looking at the biggest gainer, Sonic. I know some people are probably wondering about Sonic. You might have bought some Sonic. If you're looking at Sonic here, it looks like their TVL has been exploding. So keep an eye out on that one. Wouldn't be surprised, though, to see a little bit of a correction later on. Now, I'm about to talk about Cardano, Josh. So I hope you're sitting down. Question is, this is from Jason Appleton, Crypto Crow, big fans over here. The question is, does Cardano being a finished product with the most insane use cases ever prepare us to launch ahead to 1,300% pump? Everything that came before was on faith. This one will be much powerful. Now, this is not USD. This is ADA BTC. And when we go to the chart, I was wondering, wait, is this really 1,300%? Is this really over a 10x? There's no way, right? There's no way, right? It's not. It's 339%, but still very bullish. I was wondering if maybe he was using like a log chart. You got to be kind of careful with those folks. If we look here, we're looking at still, still a small pump, but I would take a 4 or 5x for Cardano versus Bitcoin. I don't know if you're that bullish on it like I am, but here's another thing. Trump's crypto czar. Important announcements on digital assets coming soon. Bo Hines, second in command to Crypto Czar. This is the guy directly under David Sachs. He's invited XRP, Chia, Near, Filecoin, IOHK, which is Cardano, Avalanche, Aptos, Movement, and Miston. And I think this might explain some of the move pumps that we've been seeing lately. I think a lot of people are maybe expecting good things for these coins here. Josh, choose one coin to buy, not sell for a year. What coin would you choose?
Ooh, dude, probably Cardano, to be fair.
I like Cardano followed by Near.
Buy Cardano and Near. I mean, XRP as well is not a bad play, but I mean, if I'm looking for returns, like, yeah, but Avalanche, I think, is underrated. I think Avalanche very underrated. Movement, I still haven't done our deep dive into. We got to do a full deep dive into that entire chain, because that's obviously the one
Chat
that
likes
was picked up
File.
by
They like
Trump there.
Avalanche. TJ, any coin here? TJ's gone.
TJ, yeah, he got rugged here.
TJ was trying to buy a politician's meme coin.
I'm back. I'm back. Did that mess up everything for you guys?
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you had an altcoin you're bullish on.
No, I did. I in that list there, for some reason, yeah, my whole computer just reset. So
and folks, these are the founders meeting the number 2 in the crypto czar, basically. The number 2 crypto czar. Vice czar.
Avalanche doesn't get enough credit for whatever reason. Seems to get it's on every one of those lists, but doesn't seem to get talked about enough. So another one I don't know enough about that I want to learn about is Movement. I feel like it's getting a lot of credit these days. It's again showing up on a bunch of different lists. So, but I don't know. I don't hardly know anything about it. So I would check out Move or Avalanche. I mean, I already have a bunch of Cardano. Near is a solid one, but I don't know.
I like Vinya's take here. What do we feel? Let's just say they're all meeting at the same time. This isn't individual meetings. Mata, Charles will piss everyone off. Over under?
I think Charles is low-key changing a little bit. I mean, I'm being way nicer with the Ripple community and kind of doing more I think he realizes this space is too toxic. And what I like in the video we're dropping tonight, the way he talks about Javier Milei and everything with the meme coin, like he really seems like he wants to just help start nurturing this space. The toxicity and the maximalism is just broken it up so much. We can't take it with the meme coin rug pulls that are taking place right now.
Yeah, I think actually, and I'm going to play with my audio. I'm trying to get mine to match up with DZ's. And Josh, you're a little low. If you could bump yours up to like 80, but because I bumped mine down the other day when we were on, but DZ's way louder. But no, I think Charles is actually pretty good when it comes to politics and remaining neutral. He'd probably be one of the least one, but I will say I don't think Charles. Instead of representative for IOHK, I don't think that's necessarily Charles. I could be because so far I've noticed several other members of it's not even IOHK anymore. It's IOG, Input Output Global. It hasn't always been Charles. It's been other senior ranking people from IOG that have been there. So, but I think he plays the political game well. He understands how to to talk with a lot of these people and understands the technical. And he's actually, I feel like, one of the more personable technical engineer types. So I think he's perfectly suited to do the politics.
Quick note. Miston is Swee, by the way,
Oh,
everybody. So
sweet.
Swee.
Okay, that makes sense.
We also pretty bullish. All right, we do have time to talk a little gold. Hit that like button if you are holding some gold. I haven't even checked on the likes. If you do want to help us out, we're trying out some new cameras, audio settings. You know, some people might be off put. So if you want to help us out by hitting the like button, that really helps us. Bitcoin fixes this. Here's why Bitcoin is better than the Fort Knox gold. So Rand Paul has called for an audit of the Fort Knox gold reserves, sparking a debate over Bitcoin's transparency and trust compared to the more traditional assets. So the Kentucky senator invited Elon and the Doge team to conduct a reserve audit of our Fort Knox gold to ensure it actually stores 4,600 tons of gold. Now, the calls to audit Fort Knox came in response to Musk addressing a question from libertarian financial blog Zero Hedge, which highlighted reserves unchecked for 50 years since 1974. Unlike physical gold, which requires external audits, Bitcoin, folks, we could be able to check immediately. With gold, you have to trust the auditor. With Bitcoin, anyone can be the auditor. You are the auditor, folks, if you're watching at home. Now, this is kind of looking at some of the numbers here. 4,600 tons of gold, $400 billion. We're not talking about a small amount. Now people are asking, what happens if Doge audits Fort Knox and it's empty?
Yeah.
Is this a possibility? Now, TJ, what would your brother say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely a possibility. It's definitely
Now,
possible.
what would your brother say, though?
He would say it's definitely empty.
Definitely empty. Definitely
Yeah.
empty. I would say I'm with you. Definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
I don't think it's empty. I do think, though, did you have Australia's announcement up there, too? So the Reserve Bank of Australia, I don't know if you guys saw this over the weekend, confirmed the existence of fake gold bars being held at the Bank of England.
Yeah, tungsten, and you wrap it in gold.
Yep. And so
It's a thing. That's been a thing for centuries
point,
or decades.
I definitely don't believe there's as much gold in there. But to be honest, I want to be shocked if we actually did have that much gold, just because of the United States like having, you know, just big nut in it all over the place. But yeah, I mean, it just goes to show.
What about that take? It's just going to be chocolate gold coins.
Chocolate. It's just Willy Wonka's chocolate
yeah,
factory.
it's a lot of people would say, yeah, it's not going to be there, but that's for security reasons, right? They're putting it somewhere else. They're hiding it. You know, they don't want everybody to know where it is, so they're decentralizing it.
But it's been 40 years.
But I agree, Josh, that either way, no matter I think we can all agree the least likely scenario is for them to show up and there to be exactly what's supposed to be there is there. I think we all kind of feel like, man, that's probably not.
Breaking news, okay. 2 minutes ago, 46 seconds ago. I'm not saying go buy this. I know people think in the middle guy was defending memes too hard. I'm just defending the legality of memes versus Charizard cards, or if I want to, draw. But Dave Portnoy, 46 seconds ago, is rebuying, and it looks like Millet potentially backing again. Folks, just be very, very careful. We don't even know if this is a hack. And so just breaking news, looks like Dave Portnoy may be trying to buy in again. And this looks like it's coming off of a different tweet. So just be careful, folks. Just be careful. Oh,
yeah,
God.
Be very careful. I would say
it up 1,000%.
Dave Portnoy has not exactly been an example on good investment decisions when it comes to crypto. He's lost money with Bitcoin, which is hard to do.
It's just coming back. It's coming back.
They're back to pushing it. Good luck. Like if this is the game
I'm
you want to
staying
play,
away.
Good luck. You know, you can make some money from.
I just refinanced my home and buying. I'm all in.
Yeah, Josh is all in. Great.
All right.
I don't know. I can't decide if I think this is net positive or net negative. I think it's positive in the sense that it does push the conversation forward. It forces them to set regulations and policies. It brings a lot of people in. They learn their lesson fast, but I do think it leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. Did you guys see, and I don't know if you have other stuff you want to hit, DZ, but the Plan B stuff, everybody was freaking out on X over the weekend.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yeah, Plan B catching a little bit of fire for choosing BlackRock to custody his Bitcoin. Almost put it with the Paul Tudor Jones. I think it makes a lot of sense.
B of him, though,
Yeah, but so do you think it's good, bad? You have any problems with it? Don't have any problems with it?
No, I don't have any problem with it. I mean, it's the same thing as gold. Say you built up a Fort Knox style vault, but then someone said, hey, I could protect that for you, and here's a little bit of trouble. The peace of mind from not having to protect your giant hoard is worth a lot. And people, I think, are not really taking into account his peace of mind. Can in a weird, crazy scenario, can BlackRock rug him of all his Bitcoin, or sure, can BlackRock fork the Bitcoin code? I think all of those are overblown fears.
Yeah, no, it's more like a government can take it from him, or what, the government could
Oh
issue
yeah.
that.
You definitely don't want to be tweeting recklessly in Britain and then be like, yeah, someone else can hold on my Bitcoin. For sure,
Yeah.
for sure. You better cross the T's and dot the I's.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that is where people get confused, or not confused, but they lose. Buying Bitcoin can be both a philosophical thing and a financial thing. And people, they can be the same and they can also be separate, So I think some people would say, depending on, I'm sure he's got a fair amount, then I would imagine he's probably not putting all of it on the ETF, probably just the large portion that he manages more frequently. So I just curious if you guys had any thoughts on that. I didn't think, I wasn't as shaken by it either, but some people were like, I can't believe you would ever. So.
Yeah, I
most
try
people
to. I
need
don't
it,
like
dude.
Maxiism.
Yeah, most people need it too. Most people can't handle self custody, and that's completely okay. Like, do you want to educate people as much as possible? Yes, but I think there's gonna be a world where a lot of these rich billionaires, they're 60, 70 years old. They don't want to learn about self custody. They want to hire someone that does self custody for them. So
Not to make it dark, but
Yeah.
imagine his wife doesn't know how to do Bitcoin, quote unquote.
Yeah, like my wife would be ready, but like, we're people that are in this space every day. So it's even for those the great point, DZ, is like, I think that's completely okay. And that's just how it's going to be in the future. But you should have the option, is the point. You should always have the option to self custody. And what I wanted to bring up against the gold was Bitcoin's audited 24/7 here. So this is the big difference between gold and Bitcoin yet again, in terms of that on-chain governance and that on-chain transparency that you just don't get with these other assets that exist in those markets. But yeah, this is interesting watching. $737 million market cap now. This is to my point that we were just talking about, guys. We're like, man, do we think it's going to hurt the space? Look how many buy orders are coming in, dude.
So if
Look
you
how many degenerates are coming in.
Yeah, if you bought when we mentioned it, I'd sell everything. If you bought 5 minutes ago, you're up incredibly. I'd sell everything.
You're literally up 2x. It's insane. And so that volume, I don't know if they're liquidity injecting or whatnot, but this is just a whole cluster app. So just be cautious on that here, guys. I did want to point out a few key things here, a few major things here, I should say. Might get us breaking here. It's a Monday morning. Can't you tell? Markets are closed today, guys, for President's Day. So don't forget that. Of course, the SPX, I was pulling it up here earlier. I was like, wait, it's not moving. Yeah, the SPX is closed today. So markets are still moving without the stock market actually flowing. And this is all in anticipation of Tuesday. We have ANET, Bidu, and OXI or OXY here. But there's a really big interview tomorrow, and I'll probably be live streaming this, knowing us. Trump Musk interview is taking place tomorrow, and they're going to be talking about markets, Doge, and everything like that. It's going to be interesting, and I'm sure the left's going to hate that. They're going to be like, the real president is speaking with whatever it is tomorrow. But Wednesday here, housing starts, Fed minutes. This is going to be the big day this week. People waiting for the minutes coming out of the previous Fed meeting. Jobless claims coming out Thursday. And then you have the services PMIs and existing home sales. But the big one, consumer sentiment, taking place Friday, which I do believe might unfortunately be down just a little bit. So those are the big macro data points you have this week, guys. It's going to be tune in, subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow, you're not going to want to miss this. I'll be covering the entire Trump Musk interview live with you guys on this channel like we always do. So make sure you guys are subscribed, hit that like button, and do not miss that out tomorrow.
That's going to be good. And I'm also, make sure you have all those notifications. Tomorrow, we're going to be releasing my deep dive on Fort Knox. What if the gold is not there? There was one interesting wrinkle I wanted to add to the story. Imagine if we audited Fort Knox and it was empty. That would coincide with what we're seeing on the ground right now, and that's the Trump administration. We have a Trump administration advisor meeting with the Fed Reserve Chairman regularly, and the Fed is in charge of the gold at Fort Knox. And if it were gone, I'm not saying it is, obviously. If it were gone, Trump officials would be regularly meeting with those Fed officials, and that is exactly what we're seeing. Folks, we do a member stream every Friday. There's one thing I wanted to highlight. We gave a call, and if you jumped in on the AI call, we might, look at this token in the future. Farm roll, you did great. You're up about 60%. You could have caught a 73% wick right there. It's a good job. And folks, there, it looks like I'm giving you the inside info. They're building, TJ, what's the word? Terminal. They're building a terminal to compete with virtuals. And I know, we had talked about terminals in the past and how it's going to be one of the best AI use cases. So congrats on the members. We talked about it Friday, so everybody is up pretty good on that one. Josh, I'm ready to see your LA Vape Cabal video, though.
Yeah, they're not going to be too happy about it. But yeah, that comes out later tonight, guys. So stay tuned and yeah, get excited because there's a lot to break down on these markets. We'll be working on quite a few videos this week, whether it's a bear trap. Right now, I got these pulled up on the stream. I'll be covering some technicals just from some top analysts on X here, looking at these, breakout zones and what we're focusing on right now in terms of the chart action. This is coming from Crypto Caesar, though, on X here. Very interesting. Bitcoin dominance does look like it actually officially topped out here with that last wick to the upside, closed below it. And this could mean, guys, I seriously think the next few weeks is going to be massive for these markets. I think we're coming up to the big next leg. And I don't know if that's, I tend to be somebody that's towards the upside. And that's because if Bitcoin's dominance is breaking down, it means risk on assets are going to be hopefully more or less more institutionally interested than they were in this last year. So that could mean the dominance breaks down. We get quite a bit of run in a lot of your favorite altcoins. And from there, we have a pretty strong March and April this year. And that's all going to be around the FOMC meeting on March 19th. So stay tuned, guys. Get excited. Crypto's just getting started. Bitcoin is still at 95K. We're going to make it through these trenches. We're going to get through all these vape cabals. And we're going to end up on top. So I got to go to the dentist, though, guys. My mouth is swelling up right now. So
just keep clicking.
Appreciate you guys.
Just keep clicking. That's all we got, folks.
All right.